Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm Carson, and I am going to be filming a video today that has been highly requested. I have filmed it before for like TikTok, however that's been more of a short form type video, not a lot of detail was given, and honestly I don't think I ever filmed a video that showed all of my tattoos. So yes, today we are going to be doing a tattoo tour. First, I'm going to go ahead and go into a little bit of backstory on why I got tattoos, kind of how my family views my tattoos, all that kind of stuff. So, starting out, back in 2014, I believe, my family and I had just moved back from Europe. I had already graduated high school at this point, and I was going to college, and I saw everyone around me. At this point, I had no tattoos. I saw everyone around me getting them, people my age, my peers, all getting them, and I always thought they were really cool, and I also thought, like, dudes with tattoos were always, like, super hot. Like, I just always thought that tattoos were really cool, and so I talked to my mom. I was like, hey, I really think I want to get tattoos. At this point, I'd already had a couple jobs. I had some money saved up. I had the money for it, so I was like, I think I'm gonna go get a tattoo. And my mother, who neither of my parents have tattoos at all, neither of them have any, they still don't, none of my sisters do. Maddie, I think, has shown interest that she wants tattoos, so who knows what she's gonna do. But like my parents don't have tattoos, my grandparents don't have tattoos, I don't think any of my uncles or aunts or any of them, and if they do, they're like small little shitty ones that supposedly have meaning, supposedly. So yeah, like tattoos weren't like a huge thing. They don't really have anything against them. Like even now, my parents think that my tattoos are really cool. I think they're really pretty. But yeah, so no, at this point, like I said, 2014, I wanted tattoos, and my mom looked at me and she's all like, look, you know, it's your body. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it. But why don't you wait a little bit? You know, at this point, there's things that you may like that maybe in a couple years you won't like, which looking back on it, of course, hindsight is always 2020. I am glad that I did wait, probably because the things that I liked when I was like 19 would probably not be things that I would like now necessarily. But yeah, so I did not get my first tattoo until I joined the military. I joined the Air Force in May of 2015, which I think I might do maybe like my military career video maybe one day and kind of go over what I did. But I did not get my first one until November of 2015. So my first one, my owl, which I'm going to be putting pictures of all of my tattoos up on screen as I talk about them. My first one was my owl, so on my left arm. I love owls. If you ever come into my apartment, or if I ever do an apartment tour, I have a fuck ton of owls, like literally just like little figurines, such as like this little guy. He holds my glasses, which they're like blue light glasses. I don't really wear them that often, but I have a fuck ton of these little things. All like just different ones. I have like little white ones. I have a little candle. I have, like all of my towels in my kitchen have owls on them. I have hanging decoration that are owls. Like I have so many fucking owls. It's insane. But anyways, yes. So I love owls. So that was my first one. It didn't hurt that bad. I don't remember it hurting. I think on a scale of maybe 1 to 10, I think it was maybe a 5 or 6. I'll never forget though, my parents came up for Christmas because I was stationed in Nebraska, and so they drove up from Oklahoma to Nebraska for Christmas, so like a month later, and I showed them. I was like, oh my gosh, guys, like look at my first tattoo. And my mom was like, I kind of thought that you were gonna go a little smaller for your first one. And I looked at her, I was like, this is not that big. Like, I definitely, like, once you see my back, like, trust me, like, this is nothing. But anyways, so that was my first one. My second one is my wrist tattoo. Like I said, I'll be putting pictures up, but it's kind of a henna-inspired tattoo. I don't know, I just always thought it was really pretty, like the henna-type stuff. I think it's very pretty, and I found a design similar to this on Pinterest, and I was like, dude, that's fucking sick. Funny story with this one though. So I went into the same tattoo artist who did my owl for me. I think his name was John. He was a really nice guy. But I went in and I was like, so this is what I want. And he's like, you want it on your wrist, like showing on your hand. And I'm like, yeah, like this is what I want. And so at this point I only had one other tattoo. And so he was like, I would not do this normally because, most people don't want tattoos that show in like everyday clothing. But you seem like the type of girl who's going to eventually one day be covered. And I was like, that is the goal, that is the plan, which obviously, I'm getting there. But I just thought it was funny that he could tell that I was like super serious about this, and that I wouldn't regret it, which I don't. So I just thought it was funny. But funny thing about this tattoo is in the Air Force when I got it, so I think I got this in like February or March of 2016. When I got it, the Air Force was doing the 25% rule, so you could have 25% of any body part tattooed. So you could have 25% of your arm, 25% of your leg, 25% of your hand. So at that time, like that was, 25% of my hand, a quarter of my hand was tattooed, and it was totally okay. Like I could wear that in uniform. But like literally 3 or 4 months after I got this one, they decided to change the tattoo regulations to nothing wrist or past, neck or past, I think feet and past, which nobody sees that. But yeah, so whenever they passed that, I freaked out for a little bit because of course there is, tattoo removal procedures that can be done. And I was like, I don't want to fucking remove my tattoo. First off, that sounds painful as shit. But second, like, I love this. Like, I don't want to remove it. But luckily, I was grandfathered in, so it was not a problem at all. My third tattoo, which I believe I got that summer after that, so summer of 2016, right here is on my forearm. It says, everything happens for a reason. It's just something that I firmly believe in. I know that... Like, I'm not a religious person. I do believe in a higher power of sorts, but I do believe in fate in a way, that everything really does happen for a reason. Even if it's shitty, I think it just teaches us lessons. And obviously, like, there's some really shitty things that happen in the world and nobody wants to hear, well, it happened for a reason. But I just personally believe that everything happens for a reason. So I got that tattooed on me. And then it ended up turning into kind of a florally sleeve. People like to think that this leaf on my wrist is a weed leaf. It is not. It's just a leaf. So this is kind of like my third / like fourth and fifth tattoo, I think. So third kind of into like fourth and fifth. I think this was 3 different sessions. So the original tattoo, and then another session where he added a couple of roses and leaves, and then he added a couple more. There's a couple things with this tattoo that kind of irk me every time I look at him. Like there's this like little gap right here on my wrist that drives me absolutely batty. Every time I've went to get another tattoo after I got this done, I would ask whatever tattoo artist I was going to see and ask them, hey, can you fill this in for me? And they're like, yeah, no problem. But then I get the tattoo that I go there for, and then I leave and I forget that I wanted them to fill that in. But anyways, so that was my next one. And then my fourth tattoo is right here. It is the closing line from the first letter that my mom wrote to me while I was in BMT. It says, with love and respect, your mom. This one is probably the one that has, one of 2 that has like the most meaning to me. Growing up, I think as the oldest child, I always just wanted to make my parents proud. It was something that I never really felt like I did very well. I was a good kid, but like I was one of those kids where constantly like having issues like with my parents. Like they were all like, oh, well now you're doing this, and I had an attitude and just like different things. And so I always felt like I never made my parents proud. And so when I joined the Air Force and I left, I could definitely tell that my parents were proud of me for doing that. And so when my mom sent me that letter and signed, which I don't think they ever knew that I felt that way. But when they sent me that letter, or when my mom sent me that letter with that closing line, I was like, damn, like that, it hit home. And so I took the letter that she had written, which I still have, and I took it to my artist, and I was like, I want that tattooed here. And so he did it. And it's fading a little bit. I kind of want to get it retouched up, but it is what it is. And then the next tattoo has a little bit of meaning behind it. It is my Ohana tattoo on my left kind of collarbone area. I got that with a group of friends while I was in Honor Guard. And for anybody who doesn't know what Honor Guard is, it is the people who present the military honors at veteran funerals. So if your uncle, father, brother, whatever served, or a wife, any type of person served, and they die, people in the military in the honor guard will come to their funeral and they will present them with military honors. So we did a cute little flag fold, presented it, all that fun stuff. So while I was in honor guard, I had formed like a pretty tight-knit little group of friends. It was 4 of us. This group, every day we would go do our honor guard stuff, and then we would come back, and then most of the time we'd go to the gym together, and then we'd go back to one of our places and game and drink, and like it was us all the time. Like it was a pretty close-knit, like we had, it was a very interesting group scenario, but we all wanted to get a tattoo together, and so 3 out of the 4 of us ended up getting Ohana tattoos. So my Ohana with the little feathers coming out of the end, just to kind of like, at that moment in time, we were family. Since then, only really one of us kind of speaks, or I only speak to one of them now. The other 2 like are kind of just went off and did their own thing. But I never really had a problem with it still being there. Like I don't look at it and, like regret getting it with them. Because, Ohana, nobody gets left behind or forgotten, just talking about family. And so family still has always been a very important thing to me. So it has multiple meanings to me. And it does remind me of the good memories that I had with that group during that period of my life. So I don't regret any of my tattoos, even that one. So my next tattoo that I got, which I think was 2017 still, was a sugar skull on my right thigh. I love the sugar skull. I think sugar skulls are gorgeous. I love the history behind them and kind of what they represent to that culture. And I just think they're really pretty. Funny story with this one. I feel like I have a funny story with all of them, but funny story with this one is on the forehead there, the artist had originally put a cross. And I'm not religious, and I don't really necessarily want any religious memorabilia of sorts on my body. So I was like, well, I'm not really religious. I don't really want a cross anywhere on my body. So he's like, okay, we'll take it off. And, throughout the process of me tattooing it on you, you can tell me, what you think you'll want up there. And I've always loved the fleur-de-lis. If you know what that is, cool. I'll probably put a little capture of it, a little picture. But I love the fleur-de-lis. I think it's just a pretty little symbol. So I told him, I was like, I think I want to do that. And he was like, okay, cool. And he just freehanded it on there with a marker, right? Then he tells me, he's like, go look at it and see if you like it. And I'm stupid. And I get up, look at it for maybe 2 seconds. And I'm like, yeah, that looks great. He tattoos it on me. It is janky. It is off-centered. It is just dumb looking. And I look at it, as soon as I got it done, I was like, I'm getting this shit removed. I'm going to get the fleur-de-lis removed because it looks bad. But, here we are, I think, 5 years later, still haven't gotten it removed. 90% of the time, I forget that it's down there. So, I kind of just live with it. But I will never forget my stupid ass. Now, if any tattoo artist ever freehands anything, I stare at it. I stare at it so hard. I'm like, this is truly what I want. But I still love that tattoo. The thighs, if anybody's ever curious on pain levels, thighs, nothing. At least for me, my thighs did not bother me at all. Honestly, it was probably more irritating, a little irritant than painful. Then my next one was my sternum tattoo, which I love. I love my sternum tattoo. I think it's so pretty. Anytime I wear any type of V-neck, shirt, dress, whatever, I just think it looks really pretty. I dig it. However, that's probably my most uncomfortable tattoo that I got. And I don't mean pain level. I mean the process of getting it done was uncomfortable. I almost stopped this man half a dozen times because I was uncomfortable. So he had me laying back, right? And I had a front clasp bra at the time. And so I unclasped it. He taped the bra to right here on my chest. And it's a bigger guy, more heavier set guy. And so I'm laying there and this man is bent over me the whole time. And he's bigger and he's breathing really heavy, like just breathing, and I'm just all like, I'm so wildly uncomfortable. Pain level was also pretty high, so that probably played a part in my discomfort. But yeah, I think that tattoo took about 2 hours, and it was so uncomfortable. Like worse than both of my like collarbone pieces. I don't know why. It was just so bad. Maybe because my like titties were practically out. That's probably why it was so uncomfortable. But yeah, no, it was rough. And then my next one I got was my dagger on my right arm. This was in 2018, I remember. And during this time, I was kind of going through some shit, like just with family and friends. It was kind of just like a rough time in my life. But I was like, I want a fucking tattoo, and I think daggers are dope, which, don't get me wrong, I love this tattoo. But, funny story with this one. So the guy who did the tattoo, did my sternum. He's the one who did the Ohana tattoo. What else did he do? He did quite a few of my tattoos. His name was Isaac. He is a great guy, whatever. Like I said, heavier set guy. He had a stroke after he did my sternum. Oh, he did my back too. But he had a stroke after he did my sternum. No, he had a stroke after he did my back. Oh, my back came first. Anyways, we're going out of order. It's fine. But anyways, he had a stroke. And so after people have strokes sometimes, at least is what I've heard, like their ability to like hold their hand steady and to do certain things is a little hindered. At least in his case it was, which he was very upfront and honest about saying that. He's all like, I'm just letting you know, like I'm not as steady as I used to be. It's no problem. So he gets in there, which if you look up close to this tattoo, there's a lot of lines that are just kind of wobbly, if that makes sense. Like the little crescent moon on top is not clean. It's not very clean. But otherwise, I like the tattoo. It's pretty. It is what it is, you know. But yeah, no meaning behind it either. I love roses. I think if you counted all of the roses on my body, I would have probably almost a dozen. I love roses. I think they're pretty. Okay, so the dagger. Oh, my back. So my back definitely came before the dagger. We're a little out of order there. But my back, holy shit. So first off, let me preface with, my back is not finished. If you look at it, it needs to be shaded. And the feathers on the side, they're supposed to be like one more feather kind of down at the bottom, kind of going towards like my lower back. But that tattoo hurt so fucking bad. You know, this was after my sternum. At this point, like I'd already had my wrist tattooed, so like it's bony. Yeah. My back hurt so bad. Anytime he got near my spine, I wanted to cry. I never cried with any of my tattoos. Like none of them made me cry. That one, about 3 hours in, I told him, I was all like, I gotta tap out, dude. Like I cannot do this anymore or I will end up bawling right here. So I told him, I was all like, you know what? Let me give it a couple months. Let me heal it up. Let me save some more money and I'll come back and we'll finish it up. That was like 5 years ago. And to be honest, I don't think I will ever get it finished because that shit hurts so fucking bad. I don't ever want to do that again. Like I want to get my ribs tattooed and I want to get, you know, like my neck and stuff. And yeah, I'm really hoping it's nothing like that. But also I've never tried with any of my tattoos, a numbing spray or like a numbing gel. So maybe that would make a difference. Maybe I'll try that. But as of right now, I have no plans on getting my back finished. Yeah, shit fucking hurted. Anyways, okay, so this next one is the first one that I got after getting out of active duty Air Force. So I've actually gotten quite a few since leaving the military. After I listed them out, I'm like, God damn, I've actually gotten quite a few since leaving. Honestly, the last like 5 years of my life have been like a fucking blur, so I don't really remember much somehow. But the next one I got was my bird cage. This was by my first female tattoo artist. She's actually been the one to do everything since I've gotten out. I haven't seen anyone else. She's fantastic. Her name is Shelly. She has done everything from here on out that I'm listing. So my bird cage, I just thought it was pretty. I have no reasoning behind it at all. I just think it's pretty. But again, so thigh did not bug me at all. I got that, I think, at the very beginning of COVID, kind of, I think, like summer of 2020. But yeah, love it. I think it's pretty, gives kind of elegant vibes. I just dig it. And then my next one that Shelly did are my eyes here. Everyone always asks, they're like, are those your eyes? And I was like, bitch, do my brows look this nice? Are you fucking smoking crack? No, I just think they're pretty. I do think that my eyes are one of my most redeeming qualities, physically. So I do like my eyes. I think that's one of the reasons why I got them. Honestly, I just think they're pretty, and I think it takes up some space here. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with this. This reminds me of like a whale stomach. I don't know why. That looks like a whale stomach. Am I right? Anyways. But yeah, so my next one were my eyes. This didn't hurt at all. It's pretty, not fatty, but it's pretty chunky right there. Didn't hurt that bad. Then my next one was my key. I love antique keys. Like I said, I'm putting photos up. I don't know why I keep trying to show you guys. But I love antique keys. I think they're pretty. I've always like worn like back in, I think like early 2010s, the jewelry, the antique key jewelry trend, that's a fucking mouthful, was pretty popular. So I wore like lots of necklaces out on them. Actually, I think I still have all that shit. I have some earrings that are antique keys. I think they're really cool. I think they're pretty. I think they're very elegant. And of course had to get my initial in the top there because I'm conceited. But yeah, so like I said, Shelly did that one as well. I do like the shading on it. I think it's really good. I wish she had made it a little bit more maybe 3D looking. I don't know. But I love it. I think it's cute. And then after the key, I got my jack-o'-lantern one, which honestly I think the jack-o'-lantern is probably one that I get the most compliments on. This one also is not shaded, and honestly I don't think I'm ever going to get it shaded because I get so many compliments as it is, and I think it kind of sticks out more when it's not shaded, like against my other ones. Story with that one, so because I'm stupid, at that point in my life, for anybody who knows me and has been here for a while, I actually got kicked out of the first college I had enrolled in since like leaving active duty Air Force. I was failing all of my classes because I'm stupid. And at that point, so I wasn't receiving VA money at the time because I wasn't in school, which is what I had been using for my rent. That same day, which the reason that it's not shaded is I told Shelly, I was like, hey, let's just do the outline and then we'll do the shading another day so I can save up some more money. That day, rent was due, and I was like, shit, I don't think I have enough money to cover my rent, because I had just found out like 2 days before that I was getting kicked out of school. And I didn't have the heart to tell Shelly that I had to postpone my appointment because I don't do confrontation well. So I'm stupid. Did I say that? Because I am. And I went ahead and went along with it. But I did end up paying my rent. Everything was fine, and it has been fine since. But yeah, no, we all see where my priorities stand. So my pumpkin, like I said, I get the most compliments and honestly just comments on it. It's a great conversation starter. It tells people that I love Halloween, which I fucking do, obviously. But yeah. So my next ones, multiple, are my finger tattoos. So when I left active duty, I knew I wanted to do something, I guess just the military in general, not just active duty. I knew I wanted to do something that I couldn't do while I was in. So I did contemplate like dyeing my hair a crazy color or just something like I got my nose pierced. But I wanted to do something like big. Like I was like, let's fucking do it, full send. And so I decided I'm gonna get my fucking fingers tatted. I did not. So all my other tattoos, I told my parents beforehand. I was like, hey, I think I'm gonna go get this, blah, blah, blah. Did not tell my parents about this at all. I was like, I know I'm going to get the disappointed, like, look. Like, they would never be like, Karsen, you shouldn't do that. Karsen, you can't do that. I'm a grown adult. They know that. I know that. I'm going to do what I want, and they know that. But I didn't want anyone to try to talk me out of it, which I do not regret them at all. But, yeah, I did not tell them beforehand. Anyway, so I go to get them. The K, I'll kind of go over, like, kind of what they mean in a way. K on my left hand ring finger, which again I'm conceited. Obviously for Carson. I asked my tattooer, I asked Shelly when I got them because I didn't know what order I wanted them in, and I was like, "Do you think it would be kind of fucked up for me to put my own initial on my ring finger?" And she's like, "No," which I love Shelly. She's a badass bitch. We stan. But she's like, no. And I was like, let's fucking do it. Full send. Just kind of at the end of the day, I really do believe, and I know that there's going to be tons of people who don't agree with this, which, cool, fine, whatever. At the end of the day, you know, I am the most important person to myself. And I think more people should put themselves first. And I haven't always been that person. I have not always been the kind of person to put myself first. I've almost always worried about others before myself. And growing up, I've realized that I need to stop doing that because it doesn't always benefit me. Not that everything should benefit me, but at the end of the day, who's going to have your back? Yourself. So anyways, that's why I did that one. And then I love royalty. I call myself a queen. Like, that's my shit. It's kind of the reason like why purple is normally my color, because purple is the color of royalty. It's my shit. So that's why I have the crown here in the middle. Diamond, kind of the same shit. I feel like this hand is just kind of on that vibe, you know. Yeah, it's just that vibe. And then this hand over here is kind of like my spooky vibe, I guess. I hate spiders, so if anybody knows me, which my mom asked me the same thing. She's like, why the fuck did you get a spider tattooed on your finger when you hate spiders? And I was like, well, because it's kind of spooky. It gives spooky vibes. And then the one here in the middle is the crescent moon, kind of going with Sailor Moon, because Sailor Moon is the first anime that I ever watched. It's my favorite. If you guys can see, I have all of my Sailor Moon, well, not that one, Funko Pops over here. And then I named my cat Luna after the cat on Sailor Moon. Like, that's kind of what that is referencing. And then this one here is the Sagittarius arrow, because I am a Sagittarius. December 20th is my birthday. Yeah, so just me being conceited all about myself. Gotta love it. Yeah, and then finally, my most recent tattoo. This one is the second one that kind of has like serious meaning to me, along with the one from my mom, but is Rico. For anybody who's been in the community or has known me for a extended period of time, Rico was a Chihuahua that I rescued back in 2017, I believe. He was a 12-year-old Chihuahua. It was kind of a shit situation of a family having him his entire life, and then they decided, yo, we don't really want you around anymore. I guess they didn't really want him around the kids. Just kind of a shit situation, and he was in my chain of command, and he was just talking about, you know, Rico. And he's like, yeah, I got this Chihuahua. I think I'm going to have to take him to the Humane Society because nobody really wants him and I can't keep him and all this stuff. And at this point, I had just moved out of the dorms at Offutt Air Force Base because that's where I was stationed. And at this point, I was in my own apartment and I could have a pet. And I had been planning on getting a dog. A Chihuahua was not, especially not a 12-year-old Chihuahua, was not part of my plan. Before rescuing him, I kind of hated Chihuahuas. I always thought they were like super cranky, which he was. But yeah, no, Chihuahua was not in my plan. But as soon as I heard that he was thinking about taking him to the Humane Society, knowing that people don't go to Humane Societies or rescue centers to get older dogs, and most of the time they're put down because nobody wants them, I was like, I gotta do something here. And so my supervisor was all like, you know what, come on over if you want to meet him. You know, if it works out, if you think he'll work out, you can have him. And I was like, okay, we'll see. So I came to the house, and I literally can remember this day like it was yesterday. Like, I can see it in my brain. I still remember the house. I walked in the door, and so let me preface, they kept Rico in the kitchen. Like, they would not let Rico leave the kitchen. There was like the kid gate, one of those baby gates or whatever, at the kitchen door. He had a little bed, and of course like his food and water and stuff. So as soon as I walked in, like the way that houses work in Nebraska is like there's a basement, middle floor, and then like a small set of stairs and then like the main floor where everything is. I don't know, it's weird. But I walked in that door and I looked up those stairs and Rico was standing right there looking at me through the baby gate. And I was like, yeah, you're coming home with me. I'm in love with you. So, and I didn't tell my parents because I knew my mom was going to be like, dude, do you really need a dog? You just moved out on your own for the first time. Like, you've never done this before. Like, do you really need a dog? But I was like, I just knew that this was what I had to do. So, yeah, long story short, I took him home that day. He was so cranky when I first got him, y'all. Like, not with people, but he was cranky with other dogs. Like, anytime I would bring him around my parents' dogs, he was just snappy, cranky. I had to remove all of his teeth because they were like rotted because he was so old and he wasn't taken care of at all. And so he had no teeth. He was just a cranky little fuck, but I loved that dog. So anyways, I had him until last year. Beginning of 2021, I could just tell that he was like really declining. At this point, he was like 17 years old. And probably hadn't had like the proper care most of his life to really extend his life that much. So he started declining beginning of 2021, and then I decided that it was going to be better for me to just put him down. So I did, and that was the hardest thing. Like, I hate even thinking about it because it was the hardest thing that I've ever done. And I miss him every day. But, so that was my most recent tattoo, was Rico's paws. So before he passed, I ordered a ink pad thing. Like, they have kits for it on Amazon. And so I ordered it, put his little paws in there, and then I stamped it on the little thing. And then after he passed and I felt like enough time had passed that I could heal a little bit, I took it to Shelly and I was like, can you tattoo those right here? And she was like, yes. And so, yeah, that was my most recent tattoo. I have so many plans for more tattoos. I haven't gotten any tattoos this year. I think this is the first year. This is definitely the first year since getting tattoos that I haven't gotten any. I wanted to possibly get tattoos for my birthday this year, like my neck tattoos. Anybody who has been in the community for a bit, we've been talking about, I want to do like a sun and moon behind my ears. But your girl's trying to move, and so that's expensive. So who knows if I will get a tattoo this year. It might have to be next year. But anyways, I hope that this was interesting to watch. I hope you guys, if you guys have any input on my tattoos, go for it. I love seeing people tear other people's tattoos apart. I know people are probably going to have opinions about mine, and that's fine. I have opinions about other people, so no problem at all. If you guys have any ideas for other like kind of story timey type videos that you guys would like me to do, like I said, I was thinking about maybe doing like my military career type thing in a video. If anybody would be interested in that, I don't know. But yeah, so I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for hanging in. If you like this type of content and you want to see more stuff from me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you really want to know every time I upload every Wednesday and Sunday at noon, hit that little bell thing, the little bell. Anyways, have a good day.